So we are group 4 and we are presenting on disruption in higher education industry. Intro for the industry. So as you all know, the higher education industry is a critical component of modern society, encompassing a wide range of institutions, including universities, colleges, technical institutions, and vocational schools. So in this industry, the disruption is being driven by a number of factors, including advances in technology, changing demographics, and many more external factors. A disruptive trend in the higher education industry is the emergence of new models for delivering education, such as competency-based education, which focuses on the mastery of competencies rather than the traditional credit hour systems, allowing students to progress at their own pace and not having to complete the number of hours. So also online learning, adaptive technologies, personalized content through AI and ML are also making education more effective and efficient, allowing students to progress at their own pace and focus on the areas where they need the most help. There's also an increasing importance of interdisciplinary research and collaboration. So, universities and colleges are increasingly focused on breaking down traditional barriers between academic disciplines and encouraging innovation and collaboration across fields.
So coming on to the latest and current trends in higher education industry in India. So there has been an increase in the use of technology. So COVID-19 pandemic, so it has forced higher education institutions in India to adopt online learning. And this trend is likely to continue even after the pandemic. As per the reports by KPMG, the Indian online education market, it is expected to reach $1.96 billion dollars by 2023. Also, there has been a lot of focus on the research and the innovation. So the main aim of making India a global hub for the research and development, the government, it has increased the funding for the research and innovation. So according to the Ministry of Education, the government expenditure on the research and the development in the country, it has increased from $130 billion to $141 billion in 2023. Also, there has been a lot of focus on the skill-based education. So the government, it has started emphasizing on the need for the skill-based education to bridge the gap between the education and the employability. So according to a research by the India Today, the government, it has launched the Skill India campaign to train over 40 crore people in various skills by 2022. Also, there has been an increase in the international collaborations. So Indian higher education institutions, they are increasingly collaborating with the international universities to offer joint programs, exchange programs, and other research partnerships. Next slide, please.
Okay, so the next was the business models currently using in higher education industry. So actually, there are several business models currently being used in this industry, but some of the common ones are like a traditional model. This is the most common model used in higher education. It involves students attending classes on campus with professors teaching in person. This model is often associated with four-year colleges and universities. Next is online model. This model involves students taking classes online, typically through a learning management system. Professors may teach live on pre-recorded lectures, and students can interact with each other and the professor through chat rooms, discussion board, and other online tools. In hybrid model, this model combines the elements of the traditional and online models. Students attend some classes in person and others online. This model is often used in graduate and professional programs. So, and in competency-based model, this is based on the idea that students should be able to demonstrate their knowledge and skills in order to earn credit. Students work at their own pace and can move quickly through material they already know, while spending more time on areas where they need to improve. In bootcamp model and subscription model, these models are typically used for technical skills training. Students attend an intensive program that lasts several weeks or months, and they have to pay a monthly or annual fee for access to courses and other educational resources. The subscription model is often used for continuing education or professional development programs. So the last in these are outcome based model. This is the new type of model, and this focused on ensuring that students are prepared for the workforce. Colleges and universities partner with employers to identify the skills and knowledge needed for certain jobs and then design their programs to meet those needs. Yeah, next slide, please.
Now let's move on to the disruption and how it is happening. So, what is disruption innovation first? Like it occurs when new entrants offer simpler and convenient services and products than the existing offerings. So, in higher education, what are like my friend said, there are traditional schools and colleges which were teaching in an offline manner. But after COVID, it uh, after COVID, uh, new platforms came like Coursera, Byju's, and Unacademy, which uh, which provided online education, boot camps, and alternate credential programs. So basically, they caused disruption in higher education. And so the traditional institutions are facing challenges and including the resistance to change and difficulty in competing with lower cost. So to stay in competitive, traditional institutions need to adapt and innovate using new technologies and methods. Next slide.
So, okay, let's talk about the future with respect to disruption in the higher education industry. The future of the higher education is likely to continue to experience disruption as technology and changing demographics reshape the landscape of learning. Some of the potential areas of disruption to consider here are: first, the online and hybrid learning. The growth of the online learning and the COVID-19 pandemic have accelerated the adoption of hybrid learning models where the students learn partially in person and partially online. This trend is likely to continue, and with more colleges and universities offering online and hybrid courses and degrees. The second one, alternative credentials. Traditional degrees may no longer be the only measure of the academic achievements. Alternative credentials such as digital badges, micro credentials, certifications are becoming increasingly popular as they offer a more targeted, affordable, and flexible approach to learning. The third one is personalized learning. Advances in AI and learning analytics may enable more personalized learning experiences for students with customized curriculum, pacing, and support. This could make education more accessible and engaging for learners of all backgrounds and abilities. The last but not the least, disruptive business models. New entrants to the higher education market, such as boot camps, coding academics, and online courses providers, are challenging universities and colleges with lower costs and short time frames. This will disrupt this industry. These alternatives provide may continue to disrupt the market and reshape the higher education landscape. Overall, the future of higher education is likely to characterized by ongoing disruption with new technologies and business models. Institutions that are able to adopt and innovate in response to these changes will be better positioned to thrive in the years to come. Next slide, please.
So talking about the value chain analysis post disruption. So the entire value chain of education is divided into several parts. So I'll be focusing on how disruption is happening in the entire value chain of higher education. So the number one disruption that's happening is based on technological part of it. So online learning has become one of the massive causes of disruption in the value chain of higher education. Moving on, changing demographics and learner expectations. Learners now have higher expectations for the value they receive from higher education, demanding more relevance, flexibility, and outcomes-oriented education. Rising costs and student debt. Many students and families are questioning the return on investment of higher education and seeking more affordable options or alternatives that offer better value for money. Competency-based education and alternative credentials. Alternative credentials such as micro credentials, nano degrees, and digital badges are gaining popularity
as they provide targeted, flexible, and stackable credentials that cater to specific skills and industry needs. Moving on, industry-driven education and employer partnerships. This industry-driven approach to education is disrupting the traditional model of higher education. There are several other reasons why value chain is disrupted with respect to higher education, like globalization and internationalization, changing models of education delivery, and alternative education providers and disruptive startups. So moving on, let us understand how disruption in the value chain of higher education is happening in detail. So here we have presented a kind of a triangle which explains the entire mechanism of how value chain disruption is happening. So the bottom row of this triangle features the rules, the community, and the division of labor. The community here refers to those affected by the activity and division of labor node, represents who does what in an activity, thereby illustrating both distribution of tasks and hierarchy of power. So to explain this further, I'll present an example. For example, a lecturer works with students with intended outcome of high quality learning. Digital technology tools can be used to facilitate learning. However, if a new tool is available over which the students have mastery, this may require practices within the activity system for the object of high quality learning to be accomplished. When digital technologies are brought into classroom setting, the lecturer may have to relinquish some of the authority, thus impacting the rules and division of labor nodes, thus to enable enhanced learning. So this marks the end of our presentation. Thank you. We are group number 4 and this is our project.